Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're exploring a truly thought-provoking vision for the future. It asks some pretty big questions about how we live and govern, especially, in our digital world.
That's right.
Our focus is the book Plurality. It's by the political economist and social innovator Glen Weyl.
A really significant work.
Yeah, and it's not just like a typical book you read. It feels more like a manifesto almost for a new way of thinking about democratic governance.
Absolutely. It really reframes technology. Instead of seeing it as a threat, which, let's be honest, is common,
Right.
it positions tech as a tool, potentially a powerful one, for helping us collaborate and govern ourselves better collectively.
And it's not just Weyl's ideas, right? It's
Yeah.
a collaboration. Audrey Tang, Taiwan's digital minister, plays a big role.
Huge contributions from her and others, too. It brings in diverse perspectives right from the start.
So the core question Plurality seems to pose is this: can we actually build tech that strengthens democracy instead of undermining or replacing it?
That's the heart of it.
Okay, so our mission today is to really unpack this vision. It's optimistic, definitely bold. It imagines a future where plurality, basically recognizing and empowering lots of different perspectives, is the bedrock of democracy. We'll get into the key concepts, look at some real-world examples that are quite eye-opening, and, think about what it all means for you listening.
That's good.
All right, so let's dive in. This idea of plural governance. It really challenges a lot of standard Western ideas about individualism, even simple majority rule. What exactly is it arguing for? What's the shift?
Well, what's fascinating here is that it argues for systems that don't just tolerate different voices, but actively integrate them.
Integrate how?
By enabling cooperation across differences, it sees that diversity, that multitude of viewpoints, as a genuine strength for policymaking, for tech design, for just, civic life in general. If you connect this to the bigger picture, it's about imagining governance that's more bottom-up, more adaptable, deeply participatory. And it draws inspiration from all over indigenous knowledge systems, federated democracy, and modern tech tools.
So it's about more voices being genuinely powerful, not fewer. Which, that's interesting because so much tech, especially out of Silicon Valley, seems focused on optimization, surveillance, centralizing control.
Exactly. That's the contrast.
But plurality pushes for something totally different, technologies that help communities make decisions together.
Which raises a really important question. What kind of tools are we actually talking about here? It's not just vague ideas.
Right. What does this look like in practice?
The book gives some concrete examples, things like quadratic voting and funding. Have you come across those?
I've heard the terms, but maybe you could explain briefly.
Sure. So quadratic voting basically lets you express the intensity of your preference, not just a simple yes-no. You buy votes, but the cost increases quadratically. So your second vote costs more than your first, your third more than your second, and so on.
Okay. So it discourages just buying up votes on everything, makes you focus on what you really care about.
Precisely. It helps minority groups with strong preferences have more say. And quadratic funding applies a similar idea to funding public goods. Then there are things like decentralized identity systems.
Where you control your own data.
Exactly. You own and control your digital identity, not some big platform. And collaborative knowledge networks, open source, democratic platforms. The key is these aren't seen as disruptors in that typical tech sense, breaking things. They're seen as infrastructure.
Infrastructure for what? Deliberation.
Yeah, infrastructure for deliberation, for finding common ground, for mutual understanding.
And this isn't just theory you mentioned. The book really leans on concrete examples. Audrey Tang's work in Taiwan comes up a lot. Tell us a bit more about that. How have they actually used digital tools to bring the public into policymaking?
Oh, Taiwan's digital democracy work is it's a really powerful case study. They have platforms like vTaiwan and Polbotics.
vTaiwan. Yeah.
Yeah, vTaiwan is essentially this large-scale online space where citizens can debate policy proposals. And Poldes is fascinating. It uses AI not to drive division, like some algorithms seem to, but actually to map out where consensus already exists. Even among thousands of people with different views, it finds the common ground statements.
Wow. And they've used this for actual policy.
Definitely. Everything from regulating Uber when it first arrived to handling aspects of the pandemic response. The point is, these tools help citizens propose ideas, yes, but crucially, find common ground and build consensus. It's not just a digital shouting match.
So moving away from just fighting to win.
Towards actually building something together. And yeah, Taiwan's model is presented as a kind of prototype for how pluralistic governance could work elsewhere.
Okay, so that's the governance side. But plurality also gets into economics. Critiquing, our current systems is often extractive and hierarchical. How does it suggest we rethink our economies through this plural lens?
Yeah, it connects deeply. Weil puts forward some pretty radical ideas here. One is data as labor.
Data as labor, what does that mean?
The idea is essentially that the data you generate online has economic value, right? Platforms profit hugely from it.
For sure.
So data as labor suggests you should be compensated for that contribution, like wages for your digital activity, your data footprint.
Huh. That would change things.
Massively. And the book also explores plural ownership models, ways for communities or users to co-own platforms or data cooperatives, and pushing for anti-monopolistic digital economies.
Oh, breaking up the big tech monopolies.
Yeah. Or at least creating structures that prevent them from being so dominant and extractive. But this raises an important question, right? How do you coordinate all this?
Yeah, it sounds like it could get messy.
Well, the argument is you need new kinds of institutions for collective intelligence. Institutions that are decentralized, yes, but still coordinated. And that, they argue, is only really possible by combining these democratic ideals with these new digital tools we've been talking about.
Okay, interesting. And what about AI, artificial intelligence?
Oh,
Lots of people are, frankly, worried about AI replacing human jobs, human decisions, becoming a kind of central control.
yeah.
How does plurality see AI fitting in?
That's a crucial point. The book takes a very different stance and argues AI shouldn't replace us, but augment our collaboration.
Augment.
By helping to synthesize vast amounts of public opinion, helping mediate disagreements, helping us scale consensus building to, potentially millions of people.
So it's like AI as a super facilitator.
Exactly. Think AI that listens rather than AI that dictates. It's about giving us better tools to understand each other and find common ground, even at a massive scale, something that's just been impossible before.
That's a significant shift from the usual AI narrative.
A very significant shift.
This whole vision, it feels incredibly relevant right now. Why do you think plurality matters so much today with all the polarization, the sense that institutions are, failing?
I think it matters because it's, as the book puts it, radically optimistic, but without being naive. It offers these practical examples, these case studies like Taiwan, not just abstract hopes.
Right, it's grounded.
It's grounded. And if you look at the bigger picture, plurality offers a kind of roadmap, or at least the beginnings of one, for how we might reimagine democracy in this age of surveillance capitalism, rising authoritarianism, the climate crisis, all these huge challenges. It tries to offer a third way.
A third way between what?
Between, say, unchecked techno-capitalism on one side and maybe Luddite rejectionism or authoritarian control on the other. This third way is rooted in co-creation, inclusivity, and a kind of technological humility, using tech wisely, not just because we can.
That's powerful. For listeners who are intrigued and maybe want to read the book, what would you say are its main strengths? What makes it stand out?
Well, one key thing is how interdisciplinary it is. It weaves together political theory, tech, economics, even cultural studies really seamlessly.
Okay.
It's also quite actionable. It doesn't just diagnose problems. It offers toolkits, frameworks, ideas that people could potentially apply, even on a small scale. And it feels genuinely global. It moves beyond just Western viewpoints, incorporating insights from indigenous practices, from Eastern models like Taiwan's. And despite the complexity and being written by, academics and tech people, it's actually pretty accessible. The tone is clear, it's humanistic, it's not overly dense or jargony.
That's good to hear. But it sounds incredibly ambitious, almost utopian. Does the book grapple with the challenges, the potential criticisms?
Oh, absolutely. And this raises that important question of feasibility, doesn't it?
Yeah, is this actually possible?
The book acknowledges it might feel idealistic, especially if you're not familiar with civic tech or if you're generally skeptical of techno-optimism.
Which many people are, for good reason.
For very good reasons. Implementing these ideas at scale faces huge institutional resistance. Think about entrenched power structures, existing regulations, just inertia.
Right.
It really requires reimagining some deep societal structures, economic, political, social, and some readers will definitely see that as unrealistic, certainly in the short term. The book doesn't pretend it's easy. It presents it as a grand challenge, something worth striving for.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? I'd say plurality isn't exactly light reading, but it is maybe a paradigm-shifting exploration. It asks us to think about what democracy could be if we stop treating people just as consumers or data points and start seeing everyone as potential co-creators of the future.
Couldn't agree more. It really feels like a call to action, just as much as it's a book. It's trying to inspire everyone, thinkers, technologists, policymakers, ordinary citizens, to get involved in building a world that isn't just more digitally connected, but actually more collaborative, more compassionate, more collective.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, for anyone interested in that intersection, technology, governance, ethics, I'd say it's essential reading. It gives you a framework for thinking differently.
We really hope this deep dive into plurality has given you some maybe surprising facts and definitely some new insights to chew on.
Yeah, lots to think about.
As you reflect on these ideas, maybe just consider this. In what small ways, perhaps starting today, could you embrace a bit more plurality or co-creation in your own life? In your community, maybe in your workplace, in any decision-making process you're part of? Where could more voices make things better?
Yeah. And if you enjoyed this, please do like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in.
And we look forward to having you join us for our next deep dive.